Good evening and welcome to Chit Chat Live for the week of July 6th, 2015. In tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the website Jedmatch. Hi, and welcome to the show. My name is Shannon Combs-Bennett. I'm the creative director for the In-Depth Genealogist. Joining me this evening are Jen Alford, publisher, and Terry O'Connell, executive director. Hello, ladies. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I just want to point out that everybody might notice a change in the background for me. This is my new office, and over the next few months, people will be seeing it transform. Right now, it's kind of bare and empty.
that won't last long.
No. I'm sure there will be piles of paper on the floor behind me soon.
I can send you stuff.
No, that's okay, thanks. I don't need help. Thank you very much.
Just trying to be a good friend.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, great. So this evening, Terry and Jen and I, oh, it's locking me out, have been talking on and off about Jedmatch. And for those of you who don't know what Jedmatch is, it is a website, a free website, I should say, totally based on, done by the goodness of people's hearts. You can make donations to it, which we will touch on later, where people can upload their DNA results from 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, and Ancestry, and be able to compare it to more people. And Terry and Jen had some questions about it, and I said that we could do a walkthrough of the website and show you all about it and talk about the wonders of Jedmatch.
Yay!
Yay! And I'm trying to log in because I was logged in, and now it kicked me out.
You hate when that happens.
Well, this is one thing that I'm going to say up front about Jedmatch, and I'm sure the two of you, if you've used it at any amount of time, may have realized this, is that because it is done out of the goodness of people's hearts, you can choose to donate $10 a month and get access to more advanced features, but there are times when it's down, and it will be down for a while. There are times when you have really quick access to information, and there are times where there's really slow access to information. And I know some people have had problems in the past uploading their raw data and have had to do it multiple times. I think one of my kids took 6 or 7 tries at one point, and it was because they were having server issues, and at the time of day I was doing it. And so that's one of the things you have to realize going into looking at the website, is that it's a great tool, but it's not a subscription-based paid website, and so a majority of the users are doing it for free, and you have to kind of go with that. So.
Okay. Right.
Now, I know Terry has played around with it before. Have you, Jen?
I uploaded my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What am I? Can you not hear me?
I can now.
Okay. I've uploaded my stuff and my Jedcom, but beyond that, I've really not done anything with it. So
Okay.
I'm going to be a sponge and just absorb what wonderful information you might have.
Okay, that sounds awesome, actually. So yeah, sponges are good. So what I'll say is, I'm closing down a whole bunch of stuff so that when I start to share my screen, I won't make the oops mistake I made last time when I share screen.
That would be good.
Because I'm a dork. Terry, I know you have uploaded some information.
Yes.
And had some questions, and we kind of talked about that a little bit already.
Yes.
What I wanted to say was, if anybody has any questions about it, the ISOG, ISOGG, International Society of Genetic Genealogy, their wiki has some really good information that explains some of the features and some of the tools on Jedmatch. And there are also blogs you can read. And maybe we should put together a blog post after this in the next week where it lists those. What do you girls think of that? Think that's okay, ladies?
Yeah.
If you're
Okay. I will put it together.
Are you volunteering to do that?
Yeah, then that's great. We can definitely do it.
Okay. And I'll also point out that in the current issue of Family Tree magazine is a how-to two-page spread on how to use Jedmatch.
Okay.
So if you guys get Family Tree magazine or can have access to it, you can go out and check out the two-page spread on how you upload and the basics, the real basic stuff on Jedmatch. So yeah, go read that. Okay, so do you just want to do a tour, and then if you guys have any questions, we can do it from there?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So let me share screens with you guys. This is my...
No passwords this time.
Yeah, I closed all those.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I closed them all. I promise. Okay, so this is my Jedmatch site. This is what it looks like. What's really good is if you notice over here, you can the autosomal raw DNA. This is where you would go when you become a member, and you can upload your information. Now, the one thing I have to tell everybody is follow the directions. They give you, like here, let's do the 23andMe one, because I'll show you what I mean. There are detailed upload instructions. This will save you heartache. You can click here, and it gives you, with pictures, what you're supposed to do and how you fill it out. So, yeah. And it's just really easy. You just go through and you fill it all out, and you hit upload, and give it a few days. It depends on the load and how many kits are being uploaded in the server and all that kind of things. It may take a couple hours. It may take a couple days. But that's how you do it. And you can do it for each of the different companies. And then there's all the different kits I've uploaded here. And you can edit.
Does Jedmatch?
Go ahead.
Does Jedmatch do just autosomal or both, or?
It does autosomal raw results, but
Y-DNA and MTD.
Well, it doesn't do those. But what you can do is on your profile, for when you upload your resources, you can put that information. So if you know your haplogroups for your Y or your mitochondria.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine.
Yeah, you can insert it there.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Good to know, because I was kind of confused about that.
Yeah, no, they don't. You don't upload that. It's only autosomal results that get uploaded here. So you won't have to worry about downloading raw Y DNA or mitochondrial DNA. But like I said, there is a place where you can then insert the information.
Okay.
So the other things you can do, which are really nice that I want to point out to you, is there are forums that you can go ask information from. There is a wiki, and then there's also DNA for Dummies, which I like to point out to a lot of people who, if you are new to genetic genealogy or you're not quite too sure about stuff and you're just getting started or you're a little confused, there are some really great, basically, let's see, there's videos, there's slides, there's articles by some of the top names in the field to really give you good information on it.
Cool.
Did you guys have any questions, or do you want to see some stuff?
See some stuff.
See some stuff. Okay.
Show us. Show us.
Show us. Show us. Okay. So let me pull up my kit number, because you need to know your kit numbers. So let's do a one-to-one compare. Oh, you're gonna make me get another one. See, if you do a one-to-one, so if you know somebody who's contacted you and says, I think we're a relative, and they give you their kit number, their Jedmatch number. You can inset yours and theirs here, and you can see a graphic bar for the chromosome. You can see all these different things like the SNP counts and the sizes and stuff, and then when you submit it, it pulls up.
You should be silly and put my kit in your kit, and let's see if we have any matching DNA.
Can you give me your kit number? Because I don't want to pull up your email.
Me, you asked me a lot. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Sure.
I just thought that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, why not?
All right, Tay. My kit number is A as an apple, 371930.
A371930.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now it's just going to come back and it's going to be boring and be like nothing matches.
I'm just not going to fill in this out because I want to see if we have anything in common. No. Sorry, sweetie. But if you look at the bottom, right here, I think this is interesting because it tells you how long it took them to make the comparison.
Wow.
I do like that. Everything shows you the time that you're doing and how long it's taking.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Let me unshare a second and pull up on a different screen a couple other, you know, thingy-merbobs.
Sure.
Test kit numbers. Sorry, sometimes my words, they fail me.
More often than not.
More often than not.
It's late in the day. You're allowed.
Oh my gosh. Don't start.
It's been a busy couple weeks. We'll let it slide this week.
Oh, just this week.
Well, I'm right there with you, so. I haven't moved, but I feel like I have.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so for people who don't know or not following on my blog, I went to a conference for a week. I moved the next week, and then I've been spending this last week unpacking and organizing my new house. So for those of you who moved, you're probably feeling for me right now. I hope.
I'll think about it.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so let's see here. Kit number. All right, so that's me. So let's do my dad. How's that sound?
Cool.
So you can see, because you know there should be a lot, right?
You would.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, well, I've already done this, so I know.
You've already checked that.
Right. So this is. Oh, I actually did my mom. Oh well.
Fingers crossed she matches too.
Whichever. So each of the chromosomes and how I match her. So that's what a report would look like with your start location, end location, centimorgans, all those types of things. And that kind of makes sense, right?
No.
It doesn't?
Nothing. It's French to me.
Okay. Well, what it's saying is that I have significantly large amount of information from this person.
So the numbers there, like it was 281.5, I think.
Right.
And that's obviously she's your mother, you're going to carry basically half of her DNA.
Right.
What would it be like if it was a cousin?
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to pull up. So give me a second. Ah, man.
Cousin.
See, this is what happens. I keep getting kicked out. Okay, so give me a second. Let me log back in.
Yeah, I was trying to log in this afternoon, and it did that to me in the midst of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So let me pull up. Keep talking and asking questions. It's going to take me a second to pull this back up because I have a couple cousins, and I just need to access their information real quick because even though I thought about writing them down before we started airing, why the heck would I have, right? Yeah. All right, it's thinking.
Because you're a busy lady.
Because
all right.
I get scatterbrained. I totally am blaming moving. So it's pulling up the data
Well,
right now.
let me ask you this.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. So you've paid the extra money to get the extra tools
Yes.
Okay.
on. So when I logged in, it looked a little different. What are
Right.
these extra tools that you got compared to
The free.
the basic free one?
Okay, so those tools, what they do are they are extra analysis tools.
Okay.
That's a big word, right? Um,
Yes.
they let you do something called triangulation. Do you know what triangulation is?
No.
I'm going to assume you're looking at 3 different people.
Yes. So for example,
You smart.
yeah, triangle. Okay. So when you're
Cool.
doing, yeah, I know, isn't it cool? So when when stop. When you do triangulation, usually what you're doing is you're comparing yourself or a person to 2 other people. So you can do this so here's a good example. So if I look at okay, so this is me. I need 3. We're going to do pencils. So I'm the yellow one in the middle, right? And this is, my mom and my dad on the side, right? So what I would do is if I was doing this on pen and paper, is I would write down the bases. You know what a base is in DNA? Okay, so
Nope.
the nucleotides, okay, they are A, T, C, and G.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, so A and T pair together, and C and G pair together. And you inherit the different, depending on how your chromosomes have meshed together from inheritance, you inherit one part of the one chromosome from, your dad and one chromosome from your mom, right? Okay? You get one from each. Okay. So what you can do is when you look at your base pairs, okay, so like A and T and C and G and A and T and A and T and C and G, whatever. What you can do is you can then look at theirs, and you can see in the different chromosomes who gave you what information.
So,
okay, so what I use it for, so this is the point we're going to get to before I answer your question, Terry, because I think I know what you're going to ask. When I compare my father's and his aunt's DNA, or a cousin or something, what I can do is, because I have 2 knowns, I know what my dad gave me, okay, and I have his and mine, we can see which information is in common that I got from her through him. Or with a cousin, we can figure out which line it came from by comparing or triangulating with other known cousins. So where they have the sequences in common, we can kind of start to reconstruct an ancient DNA sequence, an ancestral DNA sequence.
So then let me ask you this.
Okay.
My mom's family goes back, pre-revolution, Virginia.
Right.
And most of my DNA circles on Ancestry are that line, those cousins, basically.
Right. Right.
The Wardens and the. So if I found any of them on Jedmatch, now I always hear don't assume that that's where you're related because you could be related somewhere else. But my dad they were all Yankees. Whereas
there's nothing wrong with it being a Yankee. Sorry.
I'm just, there was a definite difference within the 2 families. So I really couldn't see that really happening unless it was like, 1600, because I know Mom's line has some Irish too. So that would be the only way I could see them kind of coming family. So is it okay if if I found a couple of them on Jedmatch and compared them? Is it good or bad to assume that this is all that, let's say, the Warden family DNA?
Well, remember, though, that for autosomal DNA, It doesn't have as long of a time frame unless a large segment was passed down intact through multiple generations. It still only averages about 7 generations or 200 years roughly of having reliable data. So do they fall within the genealogical time frame?
I mean, they're like 1800s.
Okay, so there's a possibility that because your connection is like only 100 years ago.
Yeah.
120, 130 years ago.
I mean, 1752 is the earliest I've got, and, you know.
Okay.
Just
So yeah, you could do that. And I would show you an example of triangulation right now, but the kit, by doing the comparison, it takes sometimes up to 45 minutes for the program to run.
Oh, wow.
That's just kind of cool to know that you can do that and piece together. Because if I could find somebody that was a Richmond and triangulate that, I could pull out the DNA that is specifically from my grandfather's line.
Right.
And once I have my mom take that test, then I can start figuring out really what was my grandmother's line.
Right. And so here's the other thing. So under these, what they're called are Tier 1 utilities. And if you can donate $10 and you can have access for 1 month to these Tier 1 utilities. And if you want to, you can actually set up a reoccurring $10 subscription through PayPal where you can have access to it then as long as you keep paying the $10 a month. The other thing you get is what's called Lazarus. And the Lazarus program is a way that you can create they call it a pseudo DNA kit, but it's basically creating an ancestral DNA line. So if you are building through triangulation and different segments and you gathered all this data where you know this was my grandmother's line. You know, grandma's not here, you can't have her DNA tested. But by looking at, you know, her children and her siblings or, you know, cousins, you've been able to piece together a DNA line. You can use what's called the Lazarus data entry form and create it. And from the website it says, generate pseudo DNA kits based on segments in common with your matches. These pseudo DNA kits can then be used as a surrogate for common ancestor in other tests on this site. Segments are included for every combination where a match occurs between a kit in group 1 and group 2, resulting or combined to create a final kit. So, like, I could do this with, like, my dad and his great aunt. Well, his aunt, sorry. She is the last surviving sibling of my grandmother. So any DNA that he has in common with her he would have got from his mother.
Right.
And then I can add in any of those cousins too. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you can create an ancestral tree, basically, an ancestral DNA line.
That's really, out of all of this, I think that's probably the coolest, is that you could sit there and piece together these components of DNA that belong to specific family members.
Right.
And I guess this is, you know, if we look back at everything with Richard III in the past year and a half, you know, to watch that DNA come down through the mitochondrial line, that there are these kind of tests that you can really put that all together. It's cool.
Right.
Obviously, that's much different. It's mitochondrial, it's not the autosomal, but it was the only thing I could think of.
No. Yeah, no, I get that. And you have to do a lot of different, you know, analysis in there too. So, but there are 2 other things that you have access to with the Tier 1. There's the relationship tree projection. They call it a relationship calculator, and it helps to determine possible relationships on autosomal and X DNA through genetic distance. So you can like put in 2 different kits. You can actually, and then it'll tell you exactly, you know, how close they think you're related, type of thing. And you can, the thing is, with this, you can actually say if there's an age discrepancy, You know, if you know that if one of the kits is, you know, so many generations forward or backward from you, so it'll give you a more accurate calculation of how close you're actually related.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Also good to note right now for everybody that's listening is that Ancestry DNA is got their kits on sale for $79. They're normally $99.
Mm-hmm.
Shipping on it is $9.95. So with tax and everything, it's $89.67. So it's still $10 off.
Right.
Nice.
Which is good. You just joined this call, Terry, again.
I did not do that. That was weird.
Your doppelganger visited.
I have
Okay.
those.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, multiple personalities going on over there?
Both named Terry. So then the other thing you can look at, which I thought was, okay, so that's the Tier 1 utilities. There's also another one called Matching Segment Search, which you can insert your kit number and look for matches in the database that have a specific minimum SNP. Do you know what I'm saying SNP. Do you know what a SNP is?
CSNP.
Yes. Single nucleotide polymorphism. SNP.
Snip.
Okay. But you can enter your kit number, and you know you're looking for ones with a certain length or higher, and it will weed out all the ones with lower matches. So you can see the ones with larger or specific segment, like specific lengths in matching. And you can get a graphic chromosome bar to look at that. So do you want to see their chromosome browser?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second so I can pull it up. So there are two different ones. Their 3D browser, which kind of makes my eyes go cross-eyed, so we'll look at that last. It's, you know, in college I worked in a crystallography lab, and I could see things in 3D in my head, and because I worked with crystals for so long, and can rotate objects, but looking at this thing gives me a headache, so I'm not too sure why. It may just be the graphic. Okay, so what the easiest thing I found to do is if you do the one-to-many matches, okay, and you pull up your results. Give me a few minutes. It's loading. There will be a whole bunch of options at the top. And you can, one of the very first one says select two or more from the select column and click this button for the Chromosome Browser comparison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click one of my parents, and of course it'll be compared to me, and then I'm going to click a known cousin to that person. Okay? So that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
And you click the browser, and it is being generated. All right, so now let me share screen. Share. Okay. So these are, so here's chromosome 1, and it gives you the legend. The color shows how many centimorgans you have in common. That is the measure of genetic, it's a measurement. We won't go into it in detail right now. How about that, Terry?
Sounds good. Don't confuse me.
Okay. I was looking at your face going, I'll make this very simple. It's a measurement. We'll just put it that way, okay? The more centimorgans you have in common, the more the closer you are in relation. How about that?
Okay.
Usually you want to look at things in the greater than 5, greater than 7 centimorgan relationship for a reliable match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So this is chromosome 1. So, of course, my mom is the big long line because, you know, she's my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I should have a chromosome that matches her completely. And then this one is our known cousin.
Okay.
And this is a known cousin on her father's side of the family. So that's where she matches. So I know I got this from my mother's father's side of his family. She is my mother's second cousin. So they have a common great grandfather. Okay? And so then here's the next one. And then on chromosome 2, she only has this, the three of us only have this little bit in common. And then on the fourth one, we only have this little bit in common. But you can go through with this and see how much, here's the next part in common. And we don't have any of chromosome 5. And then we have 2 little bits on chromosome 6. And you can go all the way through. So we have nothing on chromosome 8, nothing on chromosome 9, nothing on chromosome 10. And back on chromosome 11, we have another little bit. And so you can see how you are related, how it's been passed down.
Cool.
That is
okay. So using those two again, and please don't kick me out. See, now a lot of people have better luck, and I don't know if it's just my firewalls or what, but some people tell me that it must be me or my computer or user error with all the problems I have. So now you can also do what's called the autosomal matrix comparison, a generations comparison, an xDNA comparison. And I know that my mom's cousin and her have no xDNA in common. I've already, because they're through the wrong lines. If they both were boys, they would have had Y DNA in common.
Right.
But you know, you can go through that and see. Now, if you can see down here, this is when you do the one-to-many. This is the top little filter. So you know, it tells you if this is where you were asking about haplogroups, Jen. If they had entered their mitochondrial or their Y haplogroup, it would be right there.
Oh, okay.
On the sheet. So it gives you their kit number, who they are, if they're male or female. You can get if they know their mitochondrial or Y DNA haplogroup numbers, and then it gives you the details here for the autosomal. It gives you details for the X DNA. And then you get their name and their email.
Okay.
So you can contact them.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of stuff. So you want to see the 3D chromosome browser just so you can see why it makes my...
Well, obviously, yes, because you've complained about it already. I want my eyeballs to pop out of my head.
So we'll do the same kits. Yes, I talk. I'm sorry. Oops, I got one too many numbers.
Why are you apologizing? You're supposed to talk.
Well, I make the funny little noises as I type. It drives my family crazy.
We're all good.
But see, you can enter a lot. You can enter quite a number. Okay, so this is the graphic, okay, where it tells you largest segment on each chromosome, matching, blah, and all these sciencey stuff.
Okay.
And then you can click here to display it.
Yeah.
So this is the 3D one. Now you can
just turn your head to see it straight.
yeah, and see you can rotate it, right?
Oh, okay.
You can rotate it around. If you have more, it gets kind of confusing. And each one is
One of those people.
yeah. So let me get it to where you can see everything a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's too much.
Yeah, so.
Too hard to read, too, especially because you have 3 people there. It's like, obviously, that is your mother.
Right, so let's go to a different chromosome. See, yeah, and then you can.
So is the yellow...
The small one is her cousin.
Okay.
And it's what is compared to me.
I know.
So
the other one was much easier to read.
Yeah.
Though I am, I usually like things like that.
It's, I guess it's what you like. And like I said, it's confusing to me why. I'm glad to know it's not just me. Because like I said, I am one of those people who can literally look at an object, pick it up in my head, and rotate it.
Mm-hmm.
And analyze it in my mind in multiple directions, which I've been told is not normal. But but even that makes me go.
That's the scientist in you, my dear.
Okay. Is it what makes me kooky, right?
We'll keep you.
Okay. All right. So, do you have any other questions or anything else you want to see and play with?
I want to talk about my Indian princess. Here's the thing. So we know that everybody grew up hearing they had an Indian princess, right? I didn't hear an Indian princess. I heard that we had Indian in the family. And I've heard it since I was about 8 years old. It was never told whose family it was from, if it was my mom's, or if it was my dad's mom's or my dad's dad's. I had no clue. But on one of the heritage mixy things on here, it shows I have 0.14% of Amerindian. So I looked up Amerindian, and it said American Indian. Okay, so now I know it's American Indian. Can I claim Pocahontas?
Shut up.
No, seriously, can I claim the Indian?
Right.
And I'm sure that I already know the answer. Shannon and I have already discussed it in length earlier today. And it's probably a question that most people are like, they're excited to see it. Oh my God, there's my American Indian. So-and-so was right. So that's why I'm asking it, just so that we can get the answer out there for everybody.
Right. Well, to be honest with you, it was such a low percentage, because your percentage was what, 0.14%?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so low that I wouldn't count it as a confident result.
Now, if I found other cousins that had more,
that would be different.
So if I had cousins on my dad's side testing, that's one thing I would want to look for, to see if it can be substantiated any other place else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would definitely do that. And the reason when you get really low, it's kind of like when 23andMe put out that I have Japanese in me, and now it's a party trick. I pull it out, and when my friends come up and go, look at this result. It's because it's an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small that it's probably the computer or the program picking up. I don't know how else to describe it, but picking up spare parts, basically, random snips, and going, hey, this looks like it might fit here. But it's so small that it's not a reliable result. It's not like you have 4 or 5%,
right?
Where that could be a nice large chunk that was passed down to you.
So basically, the best thing, and this is just me kind of trying to think through the process, is to find a cousin, have them take the test, but also have them have a cousin on their other family take the test too, so I could rule out it's not their family, to see if I can find a substantial amount, if it's that important to me. Now, I'm not going to do all these tests to do it, but I just wanted to make sure that our viewers are understanding how they would figure it out.
Right. I mean, does that explanation make sense to you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. But I still want to claim Pocahontas.
Shut up. I love Pocahontas, but that's not funny.
Come on. Okay, a sibling? Somebody.
So the inside joke for those at home is it was my family legend that we were descended from a Powhatan princess. So Pocahontas being Powhatan.
It's really a specific story.
It is a very specific story.
It's not like it was just related to a princess or an Indian. It was, Pocahontas' sibling.
It was a very specific story Grandma told me, and it made me go,
Grandma's got passion. I like her.
yeah.
That's funny. I love it.
Okay.
Well, I think you've made it make a little more sense with each discussion, though. I think that we learn a little bit more. It's still French to me, which is fine. Yeah. I know where to call when I got a question that needs some quick replies too.
Right. And there's a lot more that we could go into, but since we're trying to keep these shows short, I don't want to overwhelm people with lots and lots of information. But kind of keep it on this is what it is and these are the tools available to you type of level. I hope that's what we're doing tonight is everyone's watched to this point and didn't get annoyed with us cracking jokes and have at least learned a little bit about what Jedmatch is and what it can show you.
I think you did a great job breaking it down and explaining and showing us the different things and why you would want to donate that $10 a month.
And $10 isn't really a lot. It's $120 a year.
Right. You pay more in that history.
Right. Yep. And if you are seriously curious about your genetic ancestry, do $10 1 month, test it out, see what it's like, and if it turns out that you're getting a lot of really great information, you know, keep donating. You don't necessarily have to subscribe and do the automatic payment of $10 every month. You can just, do it a couple months a year if you want to. Don't go get that latte at Starbucks.
I definitely would recommend that. Using all this out there, that's for free. The background costs of running a website are, they add up. They add up.
Like we don't know anything about that.
Yeah. They add up, and I definitely recommend for any of the websites out there that have the option to donate. Even if you can donate just a couple dollars, it's definitely worth the while for the information that you're getting.
Yeah, support the local businessman, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been going for 40 minutes. Do we want to wrap up?
We should definitely wrap up.
Okay. Jen, did you have any last questions before we do that?
No, but I definitely have some ideas of things to play with now. So.
Oh, great.
With all that free time I have, I will be sure and do that.
I hear they're adding an extra day to the week. Isn't that nice?
No. Can we cut one off like Wednesday?
Yeah. So let's see here. It is July 6th. So since it's summertime and we're doing every other week during the summer, you guys should look for our next Chit Chat coming out the week of the 20th of July. Yep. So 2 weeks. No idea what we're going to be talking about because we're not that organized during the summertime.
And it's important to note that after that we'll go to weekly for 5 weeks when Who Do You Think You Are returns on TLC.
Correct. Do you have the start date for that?
26th, July 26th.
July 26th. So that would be the following week. So yeah, 1 week off, and then we'll actually be on starting the week of the 20th for 6 weeks.
About a month and a half.
Yeah. And then hopefully we will have some, we are working, so everyone knows we are working on setting up some really great interviews for this fall to kind of fill up the dead space in the programming. We're in the process of getting people lined up. But always, if you have any ideas or suggestions about things you would like to hear more about, things you think you would like discussed or learn about, we would be interested in hearing from you, the viewers. Drop us a note, send us an email, contact us through our website. We would love to hear from you. So, unless there's anything else anybody has something to say, I think we will close for the evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and look forward to talking to you again in a couple weeks. Have a good night, everybody.